If you know what you want to go after, just there's no reason to wait. Start doing it right away. It's important to build relationships with people. You really shouldn't have a plan B. Because you're going to lean on it too much. You're going to get distracted. Just set a goal and just keep driving towards it.
Hi, and welcome to the HackCess Show. It's the place where you can find life hacks on how to become the best version of yourself and achieve your goals. We show you how to walk the talk from successful people. And today we're joined by Katrina. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good. So do you want to give us a quick overview of what you do, just for the viewers?
Yeah, my name is Katrina Chiovon, and I'm an actress, and I'm also a filmmaker and a founder of my own business called Ovano. And I'm a writer as well. I've made documentaries. I produce. I also we're in post-production. I'm producing a film right now. So I actually do quite a few things, but my main thing is acting and having my own film production company as well.
Good. And how do you think your vision changed from the beginning of your career? Maybe you had something different in mind, or, how did that evolve along the way?
I think it evolved, being in the arts and being creative and being a performing arts as I was a dancer starting at 3 in ballet. So I've always had a grasp for the arts since I could walk. So I think that it was just something that was meant to be. It unfolded naturally. And of course, everybody has their, there was some gaps in there, but when I was in New York, I got asked to model for Ralph Lauren in the Glamour magazine, which was kind of spontaneous. I did an audition for it, and I got it, and it definitely has to do with people that and they just asked me to do it, and I did it, and I think that was like kind of an eye opener to getting back into it, and then I started from there doing more film and acting, and which was actually 10 years ago, which sounds crazy, but I was in the movie Friends with Benefits with Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis, and it was in 2010, and it was probably, I think it was the second film I had ever been in, and and I remember them like moving us around so many times that I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be seen in this like at all, and it was just like whatever. And then I was like flying with my grandma to I think we were going to Brussels or something, and she sees like the movie on the plane, to watch. She puts it on, and I'm like, she's like, that's you, and it was like a huge scene between all the characters, and I was like, oh my god, I was like surprised, really surprised, and and really kind of blown away. And then my grandma, of course, was like so excited and calling the flight attendant. I'm like, oh my god, I'm like so embarrassed. But yeah, at the same time, I was like really kind of shocked and happy and surprised, and it definitely made me feel like, oh, hey, maybe this is something I can actually, I don't know, definitely, I don't know, when you don't think that you're gonna be like, nothing's gonna come from it, and then you see like the outcome and how successful it was, it definitely will make you work for it a little bit.
Yeah.
You'll go after it. So from then on, I actually did go for more things, and I did work on, like doing more acting and focusing on acting, and but definitely it started with, I guess you could say, it started more like with modeling, being that I didn't have acting when I was a child, it was just dance. And then when I came to New York, it started off as more of a modeling career in different modeling agencies and commercial print and things like that. So I wasn't necessarily just like focusing on acting at first. So it unfolded, and I think it definitely, it grew and evolved.
Yeah. And when you work on new projects like that, do you see them as stepping stones for getting closer to your goals, or it's more like you get any new opportunities and you go with the flow?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I try to say yes to as many things as I can. It's not easy. There's a lot of things when it comes to roles, I have to say, like, no, I don't say yes to everything. I actually turn down more roles than I take. I'm very picky as a female actress. The roles that I've been offered and that I've taken over the time. But as far as like other opportunities, I do try to say yes to as many things as I can, because you are going to be on set and you might meet someone on set that you didn't know before. And it is a big network, you know, like who you know, it really does make a difference. And I'm big on helping people. Like if I hear something, I'll reach out like, oh, hey, I think this would be good for you. And then you know, so I kind of just try to, yeah, try to say as much as you can, like say yes to as many things as you can that still fit in what you're trying to do. You know, you don't want to go like way left field if you're over here, because it's not gonna, I'm film and acting and action adventure and things like that are my genre. So I've stepped away from theater, like for instance. So I'm not saying yes to like theater, right? But if it's like, you know, hey, you want to work on this film, you know, as a producer, or, you know, like things like that, I'll say yes to, because it's all a learning experience. But my focus is film, for sure, 100%.
I think that saying yes is really an important part of actually getting these opportunities. And can I ask you, how do you view networking? Do you think it's essential?
Yeah, I do think it's essential. I mean, I know there's people that don't do it, probably because they've already had someone that did it for them before. Like they helped them like get into like, you know, like if you have a parent or somebody or a family member who did it and kind of like got you in a little, I think like those people don't necessarily have to do it as much, but I don't come from that. I started from scratch and I literally had to navigate my way through my career. And it's important to build relationships with people. Everybody that I've ever worked with, I will work with again. You know, people will always contact me to work on something else. And I think that's really important, is to respect everyone and build those relationships and not burn bridges. Because a lot of people in this industry, not just in this industry, in general, you know, they're maybe looking for the quick way, and maybe like, you know, and I'm really against that. I think that I've taken more, you would say, the longer road, you know, but it's more genuine, and I have these relationships with people that I know will last a lifetime. So
Yeah, that does sound like something important, just having these good relationships. And do you have someone who can help you, who can guide you sometimes, like a mentor?
With acting, a little here and there. I've created some I've created, actually on my Instagram, I've created some groups, and I've included all kinds of different filmmakers and actors. And there's a couple that I built relationships with, like from not knowing them at all, via social media. And some of them I really do look up to. In my last article, that's in my bio right now that I just did, Michael Cross is one. He's a huge filmmaker, and so yeah. So for film, it's been, you know, yes, I do. I have a lot. I think my peers also are a big part of that. I do have one big mentor. She used to own the dance company that I grew up, basically. Like I was there 9 classes a week. My mom made the costumes for all of our dance recitals to like knock off like how much it was costing. And she actually is, she and I still stay in touch. She's in Vegas now, still doing performance, like coordinating performances. And we talk all the time. So she's really happy to see like all the things I'm working on. So she's a big mentor for me. Susan Hakes. Her name is Susan Hakes from Berkshire Dance Theater.
And do you do something on a daily basis that makes you grow? And do you have daily rituals or exercises?
Daily rituals. I think, you know, I can't say that I have like something I do every single day that's the same, but I definitely will try to reach out to new people that I've never reached out to maybe before, like just dropping a hi or something like that, just to open a door where someone I may have not spoken to before. That's something I would say you could call a ritual that I do. You know, especially now we're not going out and like meeting people in person. So I think just drop, you know, people that I admire in their work, I may drop a hi and say, you know, check on them and see how they're doing and things like that. I've built quite a few relationships like that during COVID. That's something I could say I do, not every day, but regularly. Also my to-do list, that's something I do every day.
Yeah.
Which is very long.
Do you set your goals on a daily basis, or do you review them once a month or maybe something like that?
I try to do project per project more of a goal, like getting through, because I'll have like maybe 4 or 5 projects I'm working on right now, and I'll just try to get through them. And then once there's already something happening and growing while I'm working on that. So it's like there's always something to work on. Yeah, I think trying to give myself deadlines for my own personal projects. Like I'm making a film right now, and I just created an Indiegogo for it. Like those kind of things, like making deadlines and dates to try to stick with and get, I think that helps a little bit. And that's something I do on a ritual too. Like I try to, set dates. They're not easy to keep, but I think it's important to give yourself some time frames on when to get stuff done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does sound really interesting. I should do that myself, because now I find myself just going through my days trying to organize them in my head. But do you keep like an ultimate goal in sight to kind of guide what you do in the moment?
Yeah, yes. Like for instance, right now, I mean, I'm producing the film Checkmate. I just got picked up for something else. But like for one project in particular that I'm making right now, I am creating a film. It's called The Glitch. It's 1955 sci-fi comedy. And it's like my baby, So this is something that I have to be like, okay, today I have to get this done. I have to lock in my the Indiegogo and add the photos or whatever. And like, that's a goal, like my today's goal, like, like, so I have those that I do daily. I also too started recently, putting like little alarms in my phone, like trying to work on time management more, like, okay, 2 hours, and I'll set an alarm for like 2 hours to go off. So like, I know I have to like, keep it moving and keep, like when you get stuck on something, like get up and walk around for a second and like come back. And like, I try to do stuff like that, because you can get stuck on like one thing for the whole day and then, yeah. So just keep it moving, like get up, walk around, come back, work on something else, and then just shift your attention sometimes. That helps.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was just trying to absorb all that, because I don't know, I think that helps us as people, always being in a flow, always doing something, always going somewhere. And do you feel the need to take a distance sometimes, like a break, or are you kind of a hard worker?
Yes, no. Yes to both, because yes, I'm like this. I'm constantly like working and my brain like never stops. But I find, and I think everybody has their own outlet. For me as a dancer, I will go into the studio and I'll just put music on and I'll just choreograph and I'll just dance, freestyle dance. And it's very, de-stressing, and it's something that actually gets me back feeling good, find things that make you feel good. And everybody has their own thing, whether it's sports or painting or whatever. So I do that, yes, and it does help.
And is there something you wish you would have done better from the start in order to grow your career better? Or
I think that the only thing that I could say is that I kind of wish that but you don't know, right? So when you're younger, like if I had known I wanted to just strictly be focusing on film, I would have been doing that at a younger age.
Yeah.
Because it does take time, just to make a film takes quite a while, and to make the network and to build these relationships with people it takes time. So I recommend someone who's really interested. The thing, if you know what you want to go after, there's no reason to wait. Start doing it right away. Don't wait to finish 4 years of school. Like just start doing it right away.
Yeah.
While you do everything else. Find, even if it's just a little bit of time a day to focus on something. I just think it's important, because like for so many years I was just living in New York City, waitressing, the story of the waitress, but I wasn't actually even going to auditions at that point. I was just became a worker and paying my rent and, living, trying to have a life, and be like that. But I wasn't really focused on my career like I am now. And I've been, so you know, I also think too, having a good support group and people who like nudge you to like keep on track, I think is important too. So, you know, having friends and family that are like, you know, stick with it, you know,
Yeah.
stick with it. So
Yeah, it's very important, and I think even it's great to do exactly what you want to do in the moment. You know, like we're doing this right now with Leo, and this guy's so busy, he's shooting all the time, and I'm doing stuff too. But we're like, we want to do this, so we're doing it. And do you think it's actually blocking people to have a plan B rather than going like full on your target?
yes, I do, but I'm also a sucker for doing a lot of things. So, I mean, I'm a Cancer. We're known to be jack of all trades. So it's kind of just built in me. But I do believe that I think with certain things like this, you really shouldn't have a plan B. Like you really, because you're going to lean on it too much. You're going to get distracted. There's going to be, you know, the talking here, the talking here. So you really want to just set a goal and just keep driving towards it, you know? So like in your car, you're gonna drive towards your destination. You don't wanna stop off in all these different tracks. So I think, yes, but it's hard, you know, like this is a career that's not guaranteed. You know, we don't have a regular paycheck coming in.
Yeah.
It's not easy to not have a plan B, C, D, E, F, because, you know, we really don't know when our next job is gonna come in. And so yeah, I think it's about time balance, you know, balancing your time. I think is the best way to put it. You know, if you're going to have a plan B and plan C, that's great, but give yourself the time, you know, 2 hours on this, 2 hours on that. Like if you have to balance yourself out because you're going to find yourself being taken over by something. So yeah, either go for just one plan and keep driving towards it without stopping and drive real fast, or have your plans, you know, B and C, but make time for each one of them, you know, spread it out.
And when you work on, you said you work on multiple things sometimes. So how do you stay focused on the one thing when you're, you know, when you allocated the right time to do the right thing at this specific moment? Are you like distracted, or how does it work?
It's hard. It's hard. I think it's especially now. I think now more than ever, people have like serious ADD. We're all very distracted. You know, our phones are constantly dinging. I think it's definitely hard to stay more focused than I think ever. I think you definitely have to like set out your thing for what's the most important thing for you to get done today. And I've been kind of researching this because, you know, we all kind of struggle with this. And it's basically like you have to decide what's the most, if you could only do one thing today and get one thing done, what would it be the most important thing for you to do today? Like ask yourself that question in the morning, and whatever you answer, that's what you should get done today. Everything else will fall into place, you know, like doing the laundry, washing the dishes. Like you don't have to put that on the on your list, because those things will happen. But you need to focus on that one thing that is important to you today. And that is something I've read and I've practiced, and I think it does help.
Yeah, I love that idea. Just talking to yourself, answering for yourself, figuring out where you want to go today. But do you do that often? Like you know, talking to yourself to motivate yourself and
Oh yeah. Yes. I am a true believer of talking to yourself. Yes. What do you mean? We are what we think, right? So every thought that is in your mind, every thought that you have is going to, you know, develop. You can, you know, anything you believe is gonna be real at some point if you think it enough. So I believe heavily in manifestation. I believe in meditation. I do meditate a lot. I am very aware of that feeling. And whenever I feel like a little stuck, like I get like a little maybe, you know, overwhelmed or something like that, I'll go back and just sit and just meditate for a few minutes and just your breathing, and your mind will kind of bring you to where you want to go, and it will like, it knows subconsciously like what's going on. So sometimes you just have to, you know, meditate for a few minutes, or, you know, and it'll bring you back to your, you know.
Yeah, and I find that it also kind of boosts my imagination sometimes. You know, as a writer, I try to find new ideas. Do you
Mhm.
or do you find yourself kind of using meditation to become more creative and be able to bring your imagination to your projects?
I do because I'm very visual. I see a lot of stuff. I use the meditation more for me for focus
Mhm.
because I can get distracted easily. Um, Creative stuff, I'm very just, it's always there. It's like I sometimes wish I could turn it off just so I, for a second, right? But there's some days definitely that I'm like really like, whoa, like I need to like just be like, you know, like too many ideas. Like I say, there's not enough lifetime in this life to make all the films that I want to make. And it's true because I just have so many ideas and so many, you know, and I have really amazing and interesting dreams. And I remember them when I wake up.
Yeah.
They're pretty intense and they're very imaginative. So I get a lot of creative stuff from my dreams, and it's interesting because quite a few people who have invented things got the idea in their dream.
Yeah, that
So
is. Yeah.
it's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, the unconscious is always trying to bring you ideas, you know, trying to bring you something that you can use in your day. And do you get this this endless kind of energy for creativity from other things as well?
I have like I think because I follow and I watch a lot of people that I admire. I
Mm.
think I get a lot of, you know, juices and flowiness from, you know, their creative aspects. Um, and yeah, I just like finding new things. Like I'll just come across like I don't know like, and I'll just be like wow, and I just opened a door and I just went in and I just went swimming in all these ideas. So I think it's really good. Like I said, like yesterday when I just woke up in the morning, I started Googling like places, whatever. Drove up to Beekman, New York, went hiking up the mountain, and then like did this whole day yesterday. And then when I went home, I started like I was looking at some of the other like tags from the mountain and in the area. And I came across like this most amazing museum that's like nearby there that just is it's so intensely like it's like wow, and it just like then it created this whole like because it's very futuristic kind of looking, and it's really like something I admire. So right away it just opened another door, and then I found another door, and then it was just like there was like 100 doors last night of just like whoa, like mind-blowing stuff that I'm like yeah. So I don't know, there's so much out there and we have access to it, so yeah, use it.
And I have a question that's a loaded question. That's how do you define success? Is it more like personal, a mix of career and everything, or a definition of that?
You would think, right? It would be easy, it'd be, you know, success, right? I don't know. It's like really hard. It's really hard because I will never feel like I will never feel happy and like I'll never feel like I'm successful enough in for myself and not like money or lifestyle because that's great and I find beauty in everything, so I don't really worry too much about that part. Is success, I guess, like just me personally, is that whatever project I'm working on is better than the last one.
Mm.
That to me is success, that I'm
Just keep
growing,
growing, yeah.
Yeah.
right, that I'm not doing the same. No, I'm up here and I'm up here and I'm growing for myself. You know, my biggest competition is myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
important to just trying to beat yourself and becoming a better version of yourself. And
yeah.
do you do like how does it work? You know, are you like okay, this the previous project was this and this, so now I have to like set up the bar higher? How do you do it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely higher, just push myself 10 times harder,
Mm.
just like work like anything. And a lot of the projects I do are very different. You know, I thought I was going to be more just like action adventure like all the time, but I actually during COVID kind of opened up the door. I opened up my you know, I opened it up to working on things that I never anticipated, you know, like doing the voiceover for 5 different characters on the USS New York Lost in Space Star Trek animation, um, where I was literally teaching myself dialects that I had never, you know what I mean? I was like teaching myself how to do certain accents for these characters. And, you know, it's comedy. And I was like, you know, it's like, I wasn't expecting to get into comedy at any point, you know? So I was like, wow. And then now I'm doing a sci-fi comedy. So it's like, you never know, but I also, again, I like to say yes, because as an actor, you should be able to play all those different roles.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that as an actor, you should really be able to hit every spectrum.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love seeing that versatility in actors, and I see it in you as well, because I had the opportunity to see your short film Unsafe Heist, and look at some other projects that you did.
Yeah.
And can I ask you, how do you, or is there kind of a, let's say, a legacy that you want to leave behind, or do you just want to be known for having done so much in so many different areas?
Ooh, well, I can say this, that one of my goals is to make more I'm editing a documentary I made, but also I want to do, my goal is to do more documentaries, you know, discussing things that really, I've done a lot of humanitarian work. I'm really big on eco-friendly, animal welfare. Those things are really important to me. So as I say, there's two different styles. There's like the entertainment version of me, right? Where I'll pick a film or whatever that's, you know, just for entertainment purposes, or it's telling a story, but it's not, you know, like, it's not some deep, like, you know, but I need to make, for me personally, is to make films that are, you know, are telling a deeper meaning and helping people. Cause I do a lot of that. And I think it's really important. Like, I would just go off grid and just, like, I don't know, I've done it before. So it's something that's really important to me. I think helping people is really important to me.
Yeah. Okay, I think we can have one last question here. What is the best advice you ever received, or if you'd like to give an advice to the viewers, people watching this, what do you think this would be?
Okay, so my best advice would be is that don't wait for like your perfect role. Don't wait to get that casting that's the perfect role for me. I think that in this time especially, you need to create your own roles. So make your own films, you know, develop your own stuff. You can write and develop your most, you know, your ideal character or role or scenario in a film, and make your reels based on that. And that's what you pitch to agents, because they're going to see you doing those roles and say, oh yeah, I can see her playing that role, or I can see her playing that role, and that's the ones you're going to get. If your reel is full of stuff that you don't even want to, that's not what you want, you know, you have to think about that. So that's something that's really important to me, and that's what I've been constantly updating. the unsafe movie, that was like, oh my god, that was such a challenge. I know you mentioned that, but that was for a film festival that was very time restricted. I had a foot injury during it, where I had to change a lot of the stuff after because I couldn't walk. I had to add like Spanish subtitles. It was such a challenge, and like we did it really kind of in not a lot of time. So I wouldn't recommend that because it was very, you know, I had to get like almost like 50 minutes worth of film into 5 minutes. So it was really, really difficult for me to do that project in such a short time. But yeah, it was really fun, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very important to just, you know, if people don't have the opportunity of getting something, just you're not getting the role you want, just create it for yourself, and then people will see what you're capable of. I think it's, yeah, if you're stuck somewhere and you don't want to be stuck, just do something. It's a great,
exactly.
great
It's true, because I was getting a lot of like, you know, the girlfriend, you know, all of these like really, you know, and there's nothing wrong with being like attractive or sexy roles. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's great for other people. For me, I was actually going after like the male roles, you know, like, oh, can I audition for that part? Like, and it was like a guy's role, just because I wanted to like show that I could do something so different and still be, you know, like still bring in the engagement and you know, but you know, in a different way. So I did some of those in like the theater stuff. I was getting like the male roles and making them into female roles. But you know, I think that it's really important for women, especially younger women, not to take a role that they feel uncomfortable with just because they want a role so bad. because a lot of girls do that and guys too. You know, I think that you really need to, you know, focus on what's important to you and your values and stick with it.
Yeah. Did you have to make a lot of compromise like this when maybe there is an opportunity when you're like, nah, I don't know too much, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I turned down a lot of roles and a lot of money, body double, all kinds of stuff that
Yeah.
I've turned down. You know, yeah, and that's okay. And like I said, I'm here to stay. Like I'm gonna be around forever. Like I'm gonna be, you know, I'm not going anywhere. So there's no reason for me to rush in and take something just to take it. I don't think that's necessary. And I think that it actually, I like it better for me. I think it was a smart decision on my part. So, but everyone's different, and you know, do what's right for you.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're happy with yourself, that's the most important thing, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, Katrina, it's promo time. So tell us what we should watch and check out about you.
Well, if you go on my Instagram right now, actually, I have in my link, I just did an editorial for My Lifestyle magazine, which just came out, I think, last week, a couple days ago. And it's an amazing article. It has some cute information there about some stuff that I was working on. And I just am really happy to, you know, have the opportunity to discuss some things about my career. I just got signed on for season 2 of the USS New York Lost in Space Star Trek. So you guys will get to see some of the other characters that I was doing last season and some new ones too. So that'll be really fun. And we'll be working on that very soon. And I just, we're in post-production for the Checkmate film, which is going to be so amazing. And I'm one of the producers on that film. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be coming out soon. And yeah, I have a few other movies that I'm working on currently that are just still in development. So writing and rehearsals.
Man, that was a great interview. That was very interesting. And Katrina had so much great answers, and she has a great mindset. What did you learn from this interview?
Well, I think that I learned how important it is to look at in the subconscious for creativity. You know, being someone who likes to create, who likes to be in that energy. I sometimes forget to let myself, or to take a little distance like she does on every Sunday, take a hike, do something else, you know, and the ideas will come. She spoke about, you know, inventors getting their ideas from dreams. Now that just shows me that a lot of creativity is kind of channeled and exposed in dreams, right? And that's something that I don't think about enough. Maybe I should be looking more in my subconscious. So it gave me that kind of idea. And what about you, Matthew? What are you going away with?
She talked about saying yes to opportunities, and I think it's very important. You know, you're not going to say yes to everything, of course, but sometimes if you're stuck in your work or in your career, whatever, it's important to just grab new opportunities and not feel stuck because it's not exactly the right role or the right project you want to work on. It's not the ideal stuff, but it's important to just work on new stuff, because if you don't say yes to new projects, they're going to stop coming, and you're going to end up in a place where you're not working on anything, and that's where, you know, you're stuck and you're depressed. So yeah, just try to say yes to some new stuff, and even if it's not the perfect project for you at the time, try something new, work on that. So I think yeah, that was the main key takeaway for me on that.
And also with the with, you know, saying yes and things like that, setting a priority, I find is like she said, one priority per day. I think that's a great idea, you know, because we all get lost in the long to-do list that we create, but eventually we do have to have one priority to kind of guide in which direction the day will bring us.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was great. I love that too. And even, you know, when people have a lot of things to do in the day, if you just focus on one thing that's, you know, the most important thing for you to do that day, it's going to bring perspective to your day, and you can still work on that and then add other stuffs. But if you work on the main thing, the main event of the day, the main thing to do, it's going to help you focus on what's important. Well, thanks so much for watching the HackCess Show.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Ooh, that was nice. You think they're going to do it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're going to do it.
Yeah. All right. go get lunch?
That's what you want to do? Yeah, burger?
Yeah. Oh yeah, fries.
Yep. All right.
Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah?
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.